Discretion is advised.
Happy Monday. You are listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 133. We are in patch 7.1. Tonight we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about our adventures at BlizzCon, all the WoW panel news, all the juicy gossip from the other side, and much, much more. So make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Bell, the PWNCAST Vanguard. The wolves whose howl can signal death's coming, Lycan. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
Welcome back. I did bring these guys. Now, I've spent a week in very close proximity with these gentlemen. So I don't really know at this point if I want to unmute them, to be perfectly honest, because, you know, reasons. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unmute them. They're unmuted.
Damn right, you're going to unmute us.
I do apologize for sounding like I smoke 20 packs a day. The week took its toll on my body, and my voice is no exception. But I did bring the Riders of Rohan with me. I did bring the Death Knight, who was so drunk he made out with a Murloc. Lycan.
So awful.
It was great.
There was tongue.
So bad.
He hurt his foot.
There was tongue.
Twice.
And then Gemma Banks was playing with my cane and his butt, and he hurt his foot even worse. And I felt bad because it was my cane that caused it. So I gave him a big kiss 3 times.
Yeah, but there was tongue, though. It means something different when guys tongue each other. You know what I'm saying?
And you looked into his eyes, so it made it gay.
It's kind of intimate.
We did make the eye contact, and my lips were wet afterwards. So I think he may have tried to slip me the tongue.
I think he did.
No, you grabbed his head.
There was tongue action. Did we get a video? I feel like there's a video of that.
There is someone. He planned it.
I don't know if we got a video. I know we got a couple pictures though. Definitely check out my Twitter. It's up on there.
So awkward.
It's slightly
That's
arousing,
assault, brother.
I don't know if it's arousing or.
I questioned my sexuality afterwards.
I think so. I hope so.
I met the hot chick from Method. I definitely questioned my sexuality, but we'll talk about that later. I questioned Lycans. I did bring the monk who fell asleep on the toilet. Jim, what the hell, man?
This is not even true.
I need to hear this story. I need to hear.
I'll say it just so Lycan doesn't say it.
I need to hear the story. Why were you asleep on the toilet?
Privacy in my life. That's why I wanted my own room. So I had my responsibilities done. DitchCon was a success, and then we had to go see Belle at the Con Before the Storm. Boom. We're ready to party hardcore. We partied at DitchCon. I got extremely sloppy the next night. Everyone went back to the hotel. I continued to drink, and I went back to my bed, and I started spinning. So I got up, and I went to the washroom, and I fell asleep on the toilet, and we should have never talked about this on the show, but I wanted, I guess, the clean version. Go ahead, Leslie.
Picture this, though. At 3:30 in the morning, you had been drinking all night. You get up to go piss, and the bathroom light's on, and the door's closed. I'm thinking, oh, maybe somebody left the light on. The door's unlocked, and I hear snoring, so I thought either him or Tio were snoring. And I open up the door, and there's Gemma Banks in all his glory, with his pants down around his ankles, sitting on the toilet, knees, elbows on his knees, snoring his ass off. And I'm going, you really need to go up and go to bed. So I go back and I start pacing for 5 minutes. Tio's laughing. I'm walking back and forth. I go back and I said, go to fucking bed. I have to. Okay.
But for the record, I did not puke, and this is the most embarrassing story you'll ever hear from me again. Next year, I'm having my own room. F you guys.
So many things I want to ask later when we do our weeks. Instead of weeks in WoW, we're going to be doing week in BlizzCon. But I did bring the priest who literally was the only guy drinking coffee at the Hilton bar. Amongst shots flowing and drinks aplenty, this guy's posted up with a thing of coffee, secret sauce.
Someone had to be the designated walker, so it was me. I chose to be that guy. But regardless, I had a good time. I did drink maybe the first 2 nights, and then I kind of just, it's not me. So
it was me.
It is what it is.
It was me for sure. It was not.
It was you. It was Gemma. It was everybody else. So kudos to you guys. But yeah, it's not my thing.
You had a couple of drinks with us though, and you had a blast, right?
Year, so I kind of wanted to see everything and how everything kind of played out before I kind of. It doesn't even matter. Next year's going to be probably the exact same thing. So thank you, Hilton, for having a Starbucks.
You'll drink more, I'm sure. It's a slow and steady crawl to complete debauchery. But we did have a very long week. My feet are swollen. My vocal cords don't work. I'm a huge hot mess.
We deserve to make an intro for you. This is not fair. No one intros you.
I know. But we have a lot to talk about this episode.
There was because she slept in.
What I do? I slipped you a Mickey? No. That was not me. I kept telling people to watch my drink because I was afraid somebody was going to slip me like a roofie or something. I was pretty paranoid. But, so we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about everything that we heard at BlizzCon in regards to World of Warcraft. For our weeks in WoW, instead, we're going to do our week in BlizzCon. For those of you who are interested in knowing, DitchCon was a huge success. Longer than it should have been, so we learned some lessons about time frame for parties. Learned some things that we need to do better for next year. But people were dancing and people were drinking and it was a good time. And I was a drunk mess. I wasn't a mess. I was just drunk.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a mess either.
Yeah. So it was a good time. It was so good. I was drinking,
but I felt like I was still like on the job drinking. Like we partied and had fun, but there had to be responsible drinking. That's why the next night got a little crazier.
I learned that lesson. That was one of the things that I had to learn as a human is to please not get shit-faced the night you're hosting a party. Because everybody, I was telling people, come take a shot with me and you could have a free shot glass. After like 7 shots, maybe you should stop. Maybe the answer should be no. Well,
that's extremely valid.
But it was a success. I wore a dress. It was awful. It was a train wreck. Everybody loved it. I hated it.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, you were gorgeous. How are those feet though?
Oh, Chucks, guys. Don't ever wear Chucks when you're trying to party because I broke my toe. My pinky toe is broke from the shoes. It was my feet were bleeding. Like I was so fucked up. Anyway, we'll talk about that during our adventures that we had this week. We had a very successful week as a team. Such a good time to be a family and a team of people. So much fun. So let's get right into the Legion panel. So, Legion panel, Ian Hazukosta stepping out. He's the lead now. He's the guy. He's the man that's in charge. And I got to tell you that he didn't disappoint when he delivered. He was honest about some things. He was honest about mistakes that they made. And I did get the chance to meet him at BlizzCon, and I did tell him, we as gamers appreciate your honesty. Please don't lose that with your new position. Continue to be forthcoming with us and telling us when shit sucks. Don't lie to us. We don't like liars. And he just said, I really appreciate that. That is my goal, is to continue to be as forthcoming as humanly possible. So
he actually at one point said that we made a mistake.
He
and
did.
I can't
He
remember
goes, sorry,
yeah.
oops. He was talking, he was referring to ability pruning, and they took things away that they shouldn't have, which we'll talk about that when we get into 7.2 talk. But yes, you're right. He did say that.
And I went, wow, that was wonderful.
Refreshing when somebody at Blizzard is honest with you and doesn't blow smoke up your ass. So, Legion panel, the first thing they talked about is the small content patch, which is going to be 7.1.5. Now, they did talk about, the flow of content, and they want evergreen content, right? They want little small patches and then really big patches, little small patches and then really big patches. So the idea behind these little small patches, system updates, just little additions, new rewards, just little random things that they can throw in to kind of make it better so that there's constant content coming out. Then hitting you with a big patch, which is going to be your dungeons, your raid tiers, all those kind of things. So first thing they hit us with, Brawlers Guild's coming back for Season 3.
Yes.
How awesome is Brawlers Guild? It's even better.
Brawlers Guild was fun.
New bosses, Brawlers Gold for you to be able to buy stuff, a Basilisk mount. Did I actually say that right? Basilisk? Did I say that
Yes,
right?
let's.
Close enough.
I go to BlizzCon and all of a sudden I can pronounce stuff. I practiced it before the show.
You can get your Clockham companion pet too. He's back in the game.
And new challenges added called Rumbles, where you could actually pull people up from the top that are spectating in to fight a boss, which is pretty legit. So
That is.
there's video that I did take of their stuff. It's on PDQ. It's also on the PWNCAST Facebook if you want to look at it. But you all do Brawlers Guild then, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not good, but I do it.
Me either.
I didn't do it as much in. I did it in MOP mostly because that mount is really cool. I forget the name of the mount, and I think a lot of people got to like around 8, and that eyeball laser thing, especially you keyboard turners out there. I'm sure that was very hard for most people.
Pure mouse right there all day.
We got to do it.
Yeah, I didn't advance very far just because you guys know when I get frustrated with something, I throw stuff. So I was just like, it's not even serious to me to do it because it wasn't anything that was overly interesting. What I did like, and I think this is something that Ian touched on, is they appreciated how, you would get buffs from people. People would, they would buff you and they would help you and they would help you with strategy and all those things. And they liked that idea. So they wanted to continue to be able to provide that. To that end, time walking is also coming back for Miss Pandaria, which is really awesome because, I mean,
It's everyone's favorite expansion.
yeah, it's Miss Pandaria. It's the fan favorite. Probably not.
No, but it works.
Maybe on some level, it's. I enjoyed Miss Pandaria fully, like 100%. But you're going to be able to go into Temple of the Jade Serpent, Shadowpan
sure.
Monastery, Storm Stout Brewery, Gate of the Setting Sun, Mogushun Palace, and Siege of Nizazu. I don't know.
Nizal.
Nizao? Is that how you say it? I've been
I
saying it
think
wrong
so.
for 2 years. Great.
Oh,
the
for 2
temple.
years. I think it's been longer than that.
That's just super embarrassing that even happened.
It's fine.
So that's exciting. They don't think somebody asked about warlords for time walking, and he goes, "Do you guys really want to go back in there?"
Yeah,
so I
that's
guess we're
fine.
not going to
Too
be seeing
soon.
that. Yeah, that's what he said basically.
Yeah.
But
I think
just
he said they're going
"Ooh."
to try to keep it one expansion
Yeah,
pass
it's
or
like,
something
Yeah.
like that.
like every other
I
expansion.
don't
makes
want to go
sense.
into warlords content right now. I have no desire to go into.
No, not at all.
I don't even want to go see. I don't want to even go into Siege. Like, don't send me any. I don't want to see Garrosh at all.
If they still had the access to give you the heirlooms, I would go back because some of them looked really, really cool.
Yeah.
And other than that, I have no desire to go in there.
Guilders are always like, "Do you want to do Mythic Siege?" I'd rather shoot myself in the face.
I hope there's that just so you can unlock like a new
Yeah, it'd be nice to get it done.
staff look for your warlock. You have to
So
have a siege.
another thing that they talked about was going to be micro holidays, which I thought this was really awesome. So the idea behind micro holidays is for them to be just random things that us as players in World of Warcraft would know, right? Just a funny thing for us to go and do, like the Encourage Remembrance Day. Players from all regions will gather to collect fragments in remembrance, and whichever regions turn in the most fragments will be flown in their honor as a
the
reward
banners
for
will
the
be
rest
flown.
of the year. So their flag is flown. The freak flag is flying for the whole year. So until the next holiday, they're representing visually in game.
And that's a PvP zone, right?
yes.
Well,
No.
If you do the old quest where you had to pick up the little stone fragments that were on the ground, you had to be flagged PvP.
Right.
So it's supposed to be a PvP zone, but not all realms will do like RP or regular realms will not.
And then they have Volunteer Guard Day, showing appreciation for the Stormwind Patrol or Orgrimmar City, the true unsung heroes of our capital cities. On Volunteer Guard Day, you can salute a guard, and you will allow them to take some time off while you cover them on the job, and get to keep the city safe from
That one's pretty cool.
people trying to infiltrate the gates. Hatching the hippogriffs. If you're in Fairless on that day, you can watch hippogriffs hatch. As a reward, you'll get a Pepe type hippogriff chick, which is a lot to say in one sentence, but I feel like I like hippogriffs, and if you're telling me I can get a little miniature hippogriff, I'm in. Like,
You're all for it?
I'm in. Boat day. There are many times
Yes,
when we
I'm on a
heroes of
boat.
Azeroth need a break, and now we'll get one. an Azeroth spring break of sorts, which is really scary to think about. On boat day, you can go to Thousand Needles and take a boat out with friends. So, guys, I think we should have a boat day date when this happens in the next.
Sounds good.
Before BlizzCon, I'd say no, but after our friendship has grown, absolutely.
Blade's Edge is getting a nice visual revamp, which is it's an
About
arena.
time.
Oh, I thought that place looks amazing
And
now.
they did such a good job. There's a video up of it on the PWNCAST page, but it's so awesome to see them. They're starting to kind of revamp some of the PvP stuff, which we actually have more to talk about that in the 7.2 talk. And then last, but certainly not least for the 7.1.5, is going to be the class updates. They talked about increasing talent diversity, the whole good versus evil, haste versus crit versus mastery conversation is something that they're working on balancing and bringing more to the table, improving the overall feel of your class, and adding and bringing back utility that was removed. He talked about hunters and said, as a hunter, you should be able to trap things. Sorry, we took your shit away. Then he said, just kidding, we're going to give it back. So I think that they realized that there were some things that they took away from a lot of these classes in their pruning for fantasy that they actually ended up removing some of the fantasy of what that class is.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what? They're doing that now, too, because I know for Blood DKs, for example, Icebound Fortitude was a heavily used cooldown that we had. And up until it was probably, I think, right before BlizzCon, they finally gave it back to us. So we didn't have any type of loss of what do they
shouldn't
call that? Loss
Icebound
of
anything
control.
be frost?
Well, yes, but most of the times you use Icebound Fortitude was while you're in Blood Spec, and because if you had a loss of movement, it actually reduces damage, I think, by 30%. So it was a nice little buffer because really there's no active mitigation for blood tanks except for our Bone Shield and our Blood Shield. Or Blood Shield rather. Bone Shield's a passive one. So we didn't have that, oh shit, I need something to reduce damage. Yeah, I could boost up my health to 5.6 million health, but I had nothing to reduce the damage incoming, and that was what we were using for Icebound Fortitude. So they finally gave it back to us right before BlizzCon. So they are working on it currently, saying, yeah, shit, we fucked up here. Let's give this back to you. Because I believe Unholy still has Icebound Fortitude. But Blood DKs did not.
Did you two, the monk or the priest, see any suffering of something taken from your class that should have been kept there as part of the fantasy that was removed?
I mean, I didn't. I mean,
I was gonna say that might be a better question for Sauce, but not for me. No.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I miss, and it's very minor, is for Holy Spec. I can't use Bubble anymore. I don't have Power Word Shield anymore. So I mean, it's just something minor, but it was nice to have. I
think it's bigger for maybe some of the other classes. It didn't hit monks so hard.
Like how they talked about rogues, how they lost their whole, hey, let's cloak the entire fucking raid team. That's gone, which hopefully they do bring back.
I loved that for PvP.
Oh,
that
that's
was
fantastic.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Especially for, what is that? Not Warsong Gulch.
The other one? Twin Peaks?
No, did the
I mean, just in general, it played a big role in Radiant and PvP.
Waterworks is that? What map is that? I can't. No.
Battle for Gneis.
It is Battle for Gneis.
It's one of my favorites,
because
too.
you would have a rogue cloak you if you were trying to sneak over to Lighthouse to go and stomp people without them seeing you, and it is something that's missed. Yeah. But I think overall it's nice that they're recognizing player feedback, and we tell you guys, give feedback, guys, because they're going to take. It might not be right away, but they are going to listen, and it does seem that they have listened because a lot of their class changes are going to be bringing back some things that they took. So. With the 7.
I mean, I'm sure all classes are going to get stuff put back, but
right.
Until that day, I'm not overly concerned about it. If it comes back, it's gonna be fine. Fantastic comes back, great. Right now, I'm not too comfortable.
7.1.2 will be on PTR next week, so you're probably looking at about a month in PTR. So we could probably see the small patch in about a month. We talked a couple episodes ago we actually talked about the Return to Karazhan episode. We talked about how we were a little bit nervous that they were sending out stuff too quickly. He seemed to have a pretty good handle on it when he was talking about it. He just said we have lots of patches and we have them in the queue. They're there. So we're going to make sure you're evenly spaced out with your content. So I did feel a lot better after that panel when you talked
that was
about
one of your big concerns,
I
right?
was I was like, God, they're going to blow it all in the very beginning, and then I'm going to have to sit here for 2 years on a podcast and tell people to continue playing and subbing. So,
Next expansion,
like,
we got
I just
you.
can't. We don't have it in us anymore to do that. We've done it 2 expansions now, and I can't do it anymore.
Even at the Q&A, though, when that lady said, thank you for Legion, and just the roar of the crowd really kind of solidified that as well.
Like, literally, thank you. You guys did a great job. So for patch 7.2, which we could probably expect in a couple of months, which is going to be, it's called the Tomb of Sargeras. But I think we already knew that anyway, because it was the next logical step in the driving force. We're going to have Legion assaults in all the Broken Isle zones, similar to how we did with the pre-expansion
all the invasions
stuff. Yeah, they're going to try to come and take over the Broken Shore stuff, which for the fantasy of what we're doing, it makes sense that we would thwart some of that, in Val Shara and things like that. Flying will be returning in 7.2. Yes. In the hopefully you've already done part 1, but you'll be able to complete part 2 of the Pathfinder to get that, which is really awesome. Now,
not Gemma, not that guy.
They're not just gonna give you flying, guys. They're giving you class mounts.
Ooh, they look so
Class is
beautiful.
getting a new mount.
Yeah.
And they're
Except for
stellar. Somebody said paladins always get fucking horses. So do warlocks, and I love it. I love it because it's fell and it's fire and it's tainted with evil. And
What do you guys think about yours?
So initially I was happy with ours. I'm still happy. I mean, the owl looks fantastic. However, I seen that arcane or mages in general get their floating disc. Cool, all right, whatever. But then I'm thinking, I was talking to Remedies since he was sitting right next to me, and I'm like, what? We're priests. Wouldn't it have been easier just to give us like fucking wings? Angel, kind of, something like that, angelic. I think it would have been fantastic. It would have made way more sense than an owl. I'm sorry.
I feel like there's a reason for that owl, though.
Because we're nice.
I don't
know.
Makes you smarter.
I would need to see their explanation for the owl, like their description, because when they release stuff, they have I would need to see their description.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have like a flavor text to it, like why and stuff like that. But it's fine. I think it looks great. I think they all look great, to be honest.
Liking you like yours?
Oh yeah, it looks like Sindragosa. I mean, it's still. And you want to talk about complaining? People talk about their classes complaining. We always get the bone things that should not fly, but they do. But I actually
as a title. You guys are called Death.
Right, but I'm happy to see that we're getting something new. This is something that we've been busting our asses for in our order halls, going through the campaigns, doing our orders, the resources and
you already have
the research.
A class mount, though. So do I.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it isn't anything. Some of us weren't missing it. I feel happy for the classes that were missing class mounts, right? Because to me, thank you. I'll take it. It's free. You're giving it to me. That's awesome. But I mean, I wasn't missing that. I think it's good for the classes that didn't have any. They don't have a class mount.
It's valid.
Yeah,
but you'd hear an uproar if they didn't hook the warlocks up or the paladins up, right? So it's good that they just everyone gets one.
I wouldn't be upset because I already have something, and I love my Dreadsteed. I literally, the only thing my Dreadsteed is missing is the fucking water walking. If Blizzard could give it back to me, that would be amazing. But other than that, my Dreadsteed is beautiful, and it speaks warlock to me, and it's what I ride in battle and PvP. So I wouldn't have been like, oh god, these guys got new mounts and we did get shit. I already have something.
Right.
But I'll take it. If they're giving it to me, I'm gonna not turn it down. But I think it's good. I think it's exciting that Jim, what are you getting for?
I really like it. It's like a tiger with armor on it. It looks. I don't know if
it looks fantastic. Yeah.
And is it a tiger? Yeah.
It's a tiger. It has
it's like a shadow pan tiger.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks awesome. Because I missed that little part when they were announcing everything, and then when Remedy showed me or told us, I was like, oh. Even the hunter one looks cool too, right?
When they were announcing that.
Awesome.
I had a nap because that was the day after.
I was sitting in like the third row, so I was trolling you because I knew you weren't there. Because I was
by
myself.
we saved that seat for you.
Yeah.
Just for you.
That our power nap though was amazing.
Erica made sure they saved a seat in the very front so that I could get the good pictures for the Facebook.
Yeah.
The 2 I fell in love with was the Rogue's Raven that they're getting.
All right.
And the Shaman's Alakir
the
air elemental thing.
Yeah.
That does look cool.
And
when you get to ride another body that sits up, it's just a good time. You know what I'm saying?
And you're standing. I mean, you're not just sitting on the thing. You're standing on the back, like you've got control of
That's
this
what I
thing.
said. When you're on top of a body that's standing and you're in control, it's a good time.
They're all just. I mean, they
Yeah.
you could tell they put a lot of work into these.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we all agree. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna be
absolutely.
good.
10 out of 10 on the mounts for sure.
sure,
And I
for
can't wait to see the challenge that it's going to take to acquire that. Proving Grounds was a big
Fish.
deal before, like especially when you're doing like a solo queue.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's a gold healer. We know he knows what he's doing. Hey, he's a gold tank, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of like that same scenario where someone's going to see, Lycan with his, Syndragosa basically. Hey, he worked his ass off to get that. So we know he's worth it. That's
With
kind of
that, we're gonna say with that it says that that all class order halls that have the new quests available, part of them is for the Broken Owls Pathfinder.
Right.
So when you finish your Pathfinder, you will have your class mount.
Well, here's the thing, though. He also talked about tying it into class quests for proving your worth. He
Right.
talked about the Warlock Screamfire quest line, and the Paladin had a quest line, but he did
Well,
talk...
yeah, you talked about the priest.
So I think it
stat
is
and all that stuff.
possible that the mounts might be wrapped up into that, where
Which would
you have
be
to
awesome.
prove your worth. You have to utilize all your skills because, like as a warlock, when you did your Greenfire, you used all of your skills. You used your Banish. You used your Eye of Kilrog. You used
Silences, use everything.
everything. If you didn't complete it and you didn't do it. So he did talk about... He didn't say they were going to be connected, but he did talk about it in the same sentence. So I do
Right.
feel like you're going to have to definitely earn your class mount. And I do feel like it would be appropriate if you were to have to prove your worthiness with that class to be able to get your mount. If you had to prove you had the ability to master all your skills.
I agree.
Which I think is great. It's a good thing for people. I spent 6 months trying to get my Greenfire, and it was awful. And
Those conversations were awful.
it
with her.
was
Oh
it
my
not.
God.
I was literally so angry.
Didn't you get it like the night before or the day before or something like that?
I got it 2 days before. It wasn't. You weren't going to get
Fuck
the
this
email with
quest.
the-
I don't
was
want to do it anymore.
pissed. But God, did I feel good when it got done?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I think that it's great that they bring that element. Now, my question is, so I know people like Lycan would do it, and I would do it, and Secret would do it, but would Jimma do it?
I would.
You would?
Fucking
I
better.
feel like you would.
Let's see. Well, let's talk. Does Jimma get flying? I like the guy on the panel for a Con
Do you
Before the
have
Storm.
Warlords flying?
No, that's why when that guy on Con Before the Storm and he was wearing a sports hat like me, and he's like, I can't even fly. I was like, me neither, bro. I am going to get both though.
Better
I'm
figure
going
it
to
out.
Who's Dustin
not be a filthy
Turley?
casual. Well, if I become the butt of the joke of the show all the time that I'm the baddie, I can't. I know those won't be the
gonna
hardest
happen.
things to get. Yeah. No.
But
It would just be like he didn't get flying because he fell asleep on the toilet.
like with flying
hate
so
you
far,
guys.
with part 1 Pathfinder in Legion,
It wasn't too bad.
It's
it
all
wasn't
a
bad.
natural
It took some
progression.
time. Right.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah.
some time, but it wasn't like, okay, you got to go do Mythic Emerald Night River before you could even go into this. It wasn't. It's not
But
like
no
they're
one would have
throwing
flying.
these.
But
Right,
you
it's
remember
not
what people
throwing
freaking
A lot
out
of it
about
was
how
stuff
much.
that you did in your natural progression of doing
right.
the things. So a lot of it outside of Good Samaritan, I know not everybody wanted Good Samaritan, but
What was it? Obtaining the four
The four
pillars that
relics.
we already
Yeah.
had.
and that
going
stuff
into,
goes.
Yeah.
You're doing that as you're progressing through the content. of
I
the
did
order
not
and the
get it
campaign.
because it was hard, is because I didn't put an effort through. I didn't finish the
Right.
quest chains of every zone. It's my fault. It's not a.
I think I just
hard
have to explore. I probably should do that this week. I haven't really given any shits, but I think it's good, and I think it'll be. I hope that they don't just give us the class mounts. I do hope that they make us work for it. I would
I
like
doubt it.
them. I'd like.
No,
them
he
to
said
keep
that
doing
that we're gonna have to kind of earn it.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
I mean,
good.
I'm okay with that.
I want to earn it. It means more than if they just give you stuff. You know what I mean? It means more if you have to actually work for it, because then you have that memory of, God, that sucked, or that was so much fun, or that was amazing. Like, you have that
Right.
kind of thing. So I agree with that.
Now, and along the same lines with the flying thing, remember he did say too, so people don't freak out. If you do get flying on one of your characters, your
It's for
alts
everybody.
will have them. You
So,
may
yeah,
not have the
it's a
class
countdown.
mount, but you will have those.
The flying ability.
that flying ability on all
Yeah,
of
you
your
couldn't
alts.
have the class mounts because it'd be class specific. But
Right.
I thought he addressed that question from the fan well too when they said about all the reps and all the different things. And he kind of was like, no, but we did this for you. Like, don't forget we did Suramar for you guys, and Pathfinders, or the new one is going to be good. So
For sure.
can't give us everything.
PvP, they did talk a lot about PvP, which is really good. Before we get into the PvP, I just want to talk about the championships. I want to talk about the finals, and I want to talk about Splice and Method, and it was Method NA, and I want to talk about a moment where the announcer said, Method's got it, Game 7. Double stuns.
Sound like the World Series.
Double stuns on the DPS. It was fucking over, and Method lost. We took it to Game 7, guys.
That was a well-executed double stun, though, like, regardless how you look at it.
Sea-Doo, they almost had that Paladin down, right? On Splice's team. They almost had that Paladin. And then you see Sea-Doo get stunned. And you see Snuts get stunned. And you're like, no, it's over. 2 taps and that Paladin would have been dead and it would have been theirs. But I have to tell you that the battle that happened, Splice is a great team. Their sportsmanship was something that impressed my husband. He had sent me a message. He said, hey, did you see Splice? Like every tournament, every time they were on stage, they went over to the other team and shook their hand. They don't really do that at BlizzCon. They do that other places, but they don't really do that at BlizzCon. These guys, 2 of these dudes have been doing this forever. It's like 4 and 5 BlizzCons now that they formed this team of they took all the best of the best and made one team. And I got to tell you, they gave Method a run for their money. I know where Method went wrong, and I'm sorry, dude, but they fucked up. They shouldn't have kept that comp, and it was bad. It was bad for business.
That comp won it for them.
It won it for them previously, but they should not have kept it, especially with that map choice. It was a bad time. However, they played their fucking hearts out, and some of these games to get them to 7 games. What did you say, Secret? You said it's like going 9th inning, right? They made it 7 games. It was everything you wanted a final to be. It was it had all the elements. I cried.
I had planned on watching it. I planned on having an open seat for you, but
guys,
it didn't work out.
Tears, literally.
Did you?
I was crying. I was like, Sea-Doo, no! I was so emotional.
Heart, huh?
You could see.
I know I went
look.
to Game 7. I was very disappointed I wasn't there live for that, actually. I wanted to sit there with you.
Yeah, all of us
Sea-Doo's
were kind of
face.
asleep still.
Sea-Doo was so defeated. He was just so defeated. He was just like... Now, he did say that it was going to be his last BlizzCon, but I don't think it's going to be. Pretty sure we'll see him next year. I'm telling you guys, they were seconds, like... They were within 2 stuns away from winning that game. It was... The announcers even said, Method's got it. And then... Method didn't have it.
You don't ever have anything till it's over.
I know.
Sorry.
It was so good. Splice is a good team. They're really... I'm going to stay true to Method, though. I'm not going to be like you Steelers fans.
Jump on the bandwagon.
I'm not going to be like you Steelers and Green Bay fans, where you guys only love them for the moment. And then... Are you...
It's good to see a finals go right down to the wire.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I'm happy to see 2 finals go down to the wire, mind you.
It was legendary. It was just the stuff that dreams were made of. And I got to tell you, even though they didn't win, you guys know I'm Method all the way. Like, I'll be Method till I die. But such good gameplay from Splice on both sides. It was beautiful. If you didn't get to watch it, it's a sad shame. So, with that being said,
I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
Let's talk about the PvP, okay?
I'll say real quick on that. What I like about that though is if you follow Method on Twitter, they even said, look, you guys had it. You know, you guys, exact words, you had all our energy and you still do. It was a legendary match, boys. Congrats at Splice. So I mean, there was no hard feelings there. They know they got their asses. You know, they played a hard game. It was a neat match to watch.
METHOD, man.
Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff. I hope, I really hope that we see him. We should be seeing Venruki next year, because I know in a conversation I had with Venruki at the end of our interview, he had talked about that he wanted to do the casting thing, and then he wanted to go back because he wanted to compete again. So the sky's the limit for the boys, honestly, and Splice literally is at the top of the world. I'm sure this is not the end of them. Splice was another group.
Not.
They were something else, and I can't remember what they were called. They were another gaming company, and then they changed their name to Splice. A friend of mine would know. Calvin, if you're listening, I need you to tell me because I don't remember. But moving on from that, it was so sad. I was in all my chats like, my heart, it's broken. I was super dramatic. I called my husband on the phone. I'm like, they lost. I wanted to see Sea-Doo get it. He wanted it. I wanted to. They have a curse. They've been to BlizzCon 4 or 5 times now, and they've been to the finals, and they've lost every one. So I'm gonna need them to get on their CCs though. If one of you are listening, I'm gonna need you to get on your CCs. Your CCs are awful. No, they really are awful. Okay, PvP. With that being said, brawls are being added to PvP, similar to how Heroes of the Storm brawls are. I'm not gonna cry about it. Basically, it's gonna alter the rules slightly. It's gonna be a new weekly, basically set up like a weekly event structure type situation. So some of the things that we can see is South Shore versus Torren Mill, which we didn't get. I don't remember that because I didn't PvP back then. So to me, outside of the the anniversary event we did a couple years ago,
Which you almost cried over.
did I
That
cry?
was a nightmare.
Oh, it really
Remember?
was. I think
You and I did that together.
We did. I remember now.
Was it just a fail, or was it so many people, or
The lag.
It was
I hope they
Oh.
could fix that.
It was so bad. I wanted to
yeah.
see it because I'd never been there. We got it, but
Yeah.
we couldn't. Like literally, nothing was happening because it was the whole thing was just a bad time. So it's gonna be like a game of it's like a team deathmatch type situation.
Right.
Instant cap Warsong Gulch. You don't need to protect your own flag. Just grab it and go. Instant cap. Packed house 15 plus verse 15.
that's what I'm excited
That's gonna be
for.
nasty.
15 verse 15 arena. That's like war games essentially, right? Same difference.
This could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Gravity
War Games
laps.
were done. War Games was done in a battleground, was it not? Is it not?
I thought it
Yeah.
was done in Gerbashi. No, it wasn't done in Gerbashi.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nagrand Arena?
It was similar to a battleground. I think you
Maybe.
just pair up against another team.
Yeah.
Gravity laps. Defy the laws of gravity in this brawl.
That one's gonna be crazy.
Okay. Winter Arathi Basin. Low visibility and ice over waterways await you. There's a video on the PWNCAST Facebook that I took, and it's awesome because I would love the different like visuals.
Oh yeah. They
I
look
have the
great
horn.
too.
I have the horn be mounted. Mounted ram fights are going to be coming in.
It's gonna have an action button too.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty
Believe
awesome.
that.
And then there's this thing where you could blow everybody off the center of Eye of the Storm. I seen it in one of the videos, which was pretty neat. I think it's nice to see that they're putting into some of the PvP and kind of just giving it some flavor instead of just, it's going to be good for these streamers because these streamers are going to be able to go in and wreck. Shout out to Swifty. Just kidding. Sold out right there. He was on my phone.
You didn't.
I
know,
did.
that
He was
good.
on. I have a video on my Facebook of the live video. He was at the bar and
Yeah.
he grabbed my phone and was talking to everybody live on my Facebook.
Oh,
and
that's
then when
funny.
I got the phone back, I'm like, okay, I just sold out because we know
No, you did.
my affinity for not liking things. What were we gonna say, like?
There were some people which it frustrated me because I was listening to some of these PvPers and they're going, "Oh, this is just stupid." They're screwing with everything. It's something different.
You don't have to do it. Don't do it.
No.
No,
Where we're
they
at.
have to. There was a big success. They've revamped PvP in a good way in a lot of people's opinions. Maybe not everyone feels that way, but they're not just letting that happen and that's it. You have to keep building on it because you can't let PvP die. And how awesome was the championships that just happened? You have to
They're
keep the
showing
hype
that
up.
they care about it.
Right.
And they're going to continue to. If you guys didn't see parts of BlizzCon, they're so all in these esports. They even created their own fucking Overwatch esport league.
Yeah.
0.7 million
They're
in prizes.
in. They're in all the way. For anybody that competes in esports, Heroes of the Storm, these guys get a base salary. If they're esport players, throughout the whole year, they get a base salary to continue
We're
to
losing
do
odds,
esports.
aren't we?
So,
Benefits, contracts.
No, but I'm saying like they're putting into esports. World of Warcraft, it's a little bit difficult because it's
Right.
not the same. Some of these guys are assholes. I'm just going to be really honest about that. Just is what it is. But they're wanting to bring different flavor to make it appealing, so that we can get this
Like mint and chip.
kind of like oatmeal cookie ice cream. But I think it's good. I'm not going to cry about it. If people are going to cry about it, don't do it. Don't
Exactly.
do
That's all it
it.
comes down to.
Say no to
know.
drugs. Just walk away. You're all right. You don't got to worry
Like-
about it.
The
Um,
logo is awesome, by
conversational-
the way. Just so you know, the logo is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
At the Q&A, someone asked about pet battles, and a lot of people are like, who cares about pet battles? And
I
I was
know
like,
people are so angry about stuff. You don't
I
have to be
do.
angry. You just don't.
I didn't.
I know Jim's like this guy. Artifact
But it's-
weapons.
It's like the
Warcraft pet
LFR
battles.
question all over again. People complain about the LFR. If you don't like it, don't do it.
They're going to be adding new traits to your artifact weapons, new knowledge levels, Relics are going to have they're going to be able to modify multiple traits, which is really nice. And you can unlock new looks. They're adding new looks.
And you can get a 4th relic slot now.
Yeah, you get a fourth relic slot. So that's going to be 7.2. Just a little disclaimer in case you guys just joined us and aren't sure, it's 7.2. I think it's nice. They're going to continuously put in artifact weapons. Listen, for those of you who are saying, oh, we're going to be putting in all this just to lose it in every expansion. We do it every expansion. Every expansion, there's a focal point, and it's null and void by the time the new expansion happens. It's
I forget how the guy answered it, though. Didn't he answer it when they said, they're not going to just give you...
You have a focus each expansion. The artifact weapons are focus for now. We're going to keep putting our time, but people are like, oh, I'm wasting my time on it.
Why?
Then don't do it.
He also said that you're not going to have like an item level 1000 green that's going to replace your artifact weapon, and you're going to unlock these skins and have them forever. So
and it's transmog forever.
Elaborated
it's for all the days of your life.
Yep.
So.
Too bad the ring didn't have anything that made it look fantastic.
Except they said it gleamed from your finger. The ring was stupid as fuck, and you're gonna make me rant because it was really.
It didn't.
dumb.
It didn't gleam. I turned the settings all the way up.
Remember in the beginning they were like, "Oh, if it'll gleam on," it's a lie. That was the lie, just like the cake.
Just like the cake.
Dungeon updates. They're gonna be adding new keystone affixes. One of them is called bursting, and the description is terrible. It's an awful description. It's basically like you're just gonna get killed 20% of your damage, and it's gonna stack for 4 seconds for. It's so bad.
It's gonna be rough if you stand in
they're adding a ton of modifiers. It's so bad. It's scary.
But it's elaborating on that system. It's still...
They're going to keep putting into it, but they've gotten a lot of positive response. I personally love the Mythic Pluses, even though it's all hurt and anguish, but I do love them. So
have to be challenged. You can't just have everything so easy.
Now, final to wrap up.
I'm watching the show notes. I thought you were going to skip over that part.
To wrap up the What's Next in Legion panel, I just want to say that just 2 episodes ago, I sat here and said, we are not going to stay here. They're wrapping up story. We're not going to stay here. Guess what, fuckers? We're going to Argus. That's endgame for Legion, folks. We said, I've been saying that there's too much happening here for that to continue to be a story. We're going to Argus. Lycan, I need you to tell us what this means.
Okay. Well, what's really funny is that we're actually, and I'm not name dropping, so I won't mention the guy's name. We were talking to a developer out in front of the Hilton the night before the announcement, and I'm like, since we're heading to Argus, how is it looking? And he wouldn't answer me. But anyway, Argus. So Argus was the original place where the Draenei were. Remember, that's where they came from. It was the most magical planet in the universe. So there's more magic flowing on Argus than anywhere else in the universe, and that is why Sargeras went there to take the 3 heads, which was Kil'jaeden, Archimonde, and Velen. Well, right now, that is like... So you have the Nathraza, which is the planet of Nathrazim. And if you read the Illidan book, it explains all this. And it was a book like the prequel to this. At the very end, which was really neat how they did it, they kind of explained what Illidan was doing behind the scenes. He went to Nathraza, wiped out a bunch of the Nathrazim, which was tied to the Twisting Nether. So, yeah, they're gone. So the ones he killed there are gone. Argus is the same way. Argus is tied to the Twisting Nether. When we go back there, as we go to kill these demons on Argus, we will be killing them permanently. So it's a very big lore thing. I mean, because once they're dead and they're dead in the Twisting Nether, they're gone.
You're right.
And being that this place is so tied in with the Nether, it's going, this is huge, because we're going back to the homeworld of the Draenei. We're going back to the homeworld where all this shit started. So that concerns me of where we would go after that.
But it's exciting because we don't know. What did we say? Legion was end game for Azeroth. It was end game for content there. There's so many things potentially that we could be doing after that because we're going to be off the planet finally. Somewhere else. Where could it... I'm like... Literally, the brain is overloaded with possibilities of... We don't even know what's out there. We have no clue. Outside of the people that have visited us, we don't know what's out there.
And there are planets among planets among planets that we could visit because, again, not trying to reference one single book, but go back to the Illidan book. When he first went to Nathraza, he would actually go, and he was talking about all the different planets and the portals that he had to visit just to get to Nathrezza to learn his way there. So they've laid down the groundwork, saying, look, there's this planet here, and they described it very shortly before he moved on, and this planet here. One good thing about doing this would probably finally wrap up the whole Burning Legion thing that we've been dealing with since the very beginning.
Everything fresh.
Mm-hmm. True.
Which would still
kill, right? Fresh bosses instead of reskinned bullshit on all your maps. Can I please get some different crabs?
And by clearing all this up, that would actually allow us to come back to Azeroth to deal with the old gods that we haven't really messed with.
I don't want to go back to Azeroth though.
But I'm
sick of Azeroth.
I know people are going to say this, but we've never fought an old god.
Then we can fight them on not Azeroth. I need fresh visuals for my eyeballs, guys. Like I want to be where the people are.
But that's
They're
what
in
I'm saying.
Azeroth.
There's a whole nother section of Azeroth that we've never visited, and it's the Shadowlands. Well, other than that, but it's a Shadowlands section that we've never visited that has to deal with the old gods. See, when we fought Yogg-Saron and Cthulhu and those old gods, we've never fought the actual old god. We've only fought like what is called a manifestation of them.
Right.
You know, the eyeball or the brain. But we've never actually fought the gods themselves, and we've never visited. I forget the name of the Shadowlands part, but there's a Shadowlands section of Azeroth we've never been to.
I'm so excited to go.
It's going to be awesome.
This is why I watch the show.
I cannot wait to go to Argus. The amount of lore that is going to be bombarding us, and what we're going to actually see, to go to the homeland of Velen. Spoiler alert, I'm calling it now. I see Velen dying. I see him sacrificing himself to take out Archimonde and kill Jaden. I'm calling it now.
I'm pretty excited to just...
It's going to be fabulous. And finally, we get to kill Archimonde and kill Jaden, and he'll never come back again.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
excited.
God.
True.
But I think it's good. I think it's good that they're, giving us the, hey, here's where we're going to end up. And I think it tells people they kind of have to, because it tells people have been saying, oh, we regurgitated content again. So we reskin some mounts, guys. It happens sometimes.
We reskin some trees, some shields.
But I think it's good. We're going to see new things. This is
going back to Cali.
This is good tidings of things in the future.
It's a win-win.
I don't know what to say about you guys. You guys are just special.
It might be more special than us.
Well, it dawns on me that I'm exhausted. I'm literally sitting here half asleep. I'm so tired.
I think the content is up and rising, though. It's good.
There's also the Q&A. I'm going to be really honest with you. I didn't watch the Q&A. I didn't go to the Q&A. I want nothing to do with that Q&A.
Why?
I did.
I'm not dealing with it.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm very disappointed in Blizzard on that aspect.
I have the Cliff's Notes. There's not really anything that's important to note, except they talked about the possibility of being able to buy other things with WoW tokens from the store.
And Pet Battle Dungeon.
Nice. Not pay to play, guys. So before we get crazy, you're not going to be able to buy armor and those kind of things. But they did talk about being able to pay for other services and it being connected. It's not even important enough to note until we know more about it. So I'm not even going to bother until it's more than just a thing in passing on the Q&A.
Are you guys just disappointed based on like what was discussed in the content?
Yes, and the rest isn't important. People that know who I am know why I was not watching it.
Here's my thing with the Q&A, and I experience this every year with a virtual ticket, with not even listening to the BlizzCon and reading the notes. They handpick the questions, which is fine. I understand that, because you don't want somebody coming up there, when are you going to bring that back, this simple green item that we drop in vanilla. But yeah, that's the problem. They're not picking relevant questions. They're not taking the hard-hitting ones. The only one that ever gets a hard-hitting question is Ian, the red shirt guy.
Red shirt guy, I met him.
Outside of that, they're canned questions and they're canned responses.
Questions that they could go on their little stream with Lore and Ian and answer. This is a fucking Q&A panel. I knew it was going to be shit. I knew it was going to be shit before I even did it, because it was shit last year. So, and it's fine. I love it. I just didn't want to waste my time sitting in a panel when I knew there wasn't going to be anything life-changing there, because they censor their questions. So
Jim had a life-changing experience on that. Go ahead, because just to make sure you get it out there one more time. What's going to happen?
Pet Battle Dungeon. Well, the lady asked about the possibility, right? So the lady asked about pet battles, and in my head I'm like, well, there already is a lot of new pet battle content, and they're probably not going to say much. And then they said, a couple of things, and then it said possibility of a dungeon. Now, the way I see that is just similar to the Celestial Tournament, where you fight. Maybe you go through, and once your pets are dead, they're
Right.
dead. But they haven't confirmed anything, and they haven't. But I just thought that was exciting, and that did make my day for sure. I looked around back at the guys we were with and PWNCAST crew, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it was good for me." But
That's a Jim segment right there.
for sure, yeah. You're not tired, Belle.
I was trying to make sure there wasn't anything else I needed to talk about.
Tired?
I've been
I can't
traveling all
imagine why
day.
we would be tired. But I want to say that we got a lot of good we got a lot of good word. And
What a
it
good week.
it made me very amped to come back and play, and it made me feel very happy to be a part of this world. And seeing Ian up there on the stage by himself, I was nervous at first, but I gotta say, guys, he killed it. He's gonna take us
he did really, really well.
He's going to take us in such a solid direction. And I did last year. I saw him in passing. He looked like he wanted to kill himself. And last year you could tell it was very difficult for him to be around, like to get used to that kind of thing. Even though he's used to it, this year he's on a different role. Buddy, your role means you got to be in the trenches during BlizzCon, and we need to see you hanging out in the bar area and not being unapproachable. Mister Chilton was chilling in his regular clothes,
behind us.
incognito behind us. I didn't bother him because leave the man alone. But
Well, everyone else probably did.
Oh, absolutely.
Ian did a phenomenal job, and he's honest, and it's refreshing, and I feel like we're in a good place, and I think we're going in a good direction, and I no longer worry. When people say, I heard World of Warcraft was dying, if you were to say that to me now, I would laugh. Because I think the exact
Punch you in the
opposite.
throat.
Where last year you were defending it, right?
I really, with all of my might,
Right.
I felt like I was fighting for my life, trying to get people to see World of Warcraft is relevant. And
To see what you see.
They did it on their own, and I'm so proud and happy to be a part of this game. So with all that,
Let me ask you three real quick on it too as well. It may have been me, and it might have been just because last year was my first year. I'm not sure, but I noticed the developers that we did run into and the community managers we did run into were a lot more laid back. They were a lot more relaxed. They felt confident in the product that they were selling. And it seemed like they didn't have to sit there, and they
here's
weren't
the thing.
worried about people bombarding them with, "Oh my God, what have you done to WoW?"
no, they've changed a lot of their community development stuff. And I only know that because we have a contact at Blizzard, and when he introduced, he just said, we've changed up how we do things. The problem with Blizzard is that they're approachable, but they're unapproachable. They're approachable if you're somebody. If you're nobody, they're not really approachable at all times, right? They have moments when they're meet and greeting, but there's so much disconnection in different levels of layers of A-listers, B-listers. Like, I think they want to be everywhere, but they really can't realistically. I mean, it's really difficult. We had people coming up to us, which is really super awesome. But there was a couple times it was a little bit overwhelming, and I didn't really, it was just, she had a book and she just wanted me to sign it. And it's overwhelming. I can understand they get it on a large scale and we got it on a tiny scale. I do feel like, I think that in their reworking of things, they realized that they had lost connection with the community because they separate from the different stations, I'm going to call it, right? You have different, you have your aristocrats.
I also think we're weird sometimes. Like, not necessarily me or us, but the community.
I don't think we mean
bombards
to
them.
be. I just think we obsess, right? We fangirl and we obsess, and I think that they lost a lot of connection to the community in Warlords, and I think that they lost that driving force, and I feel like that they're trying to gain that back and kind of be involved. And I feel like maybe they had a meeting and said, I need you guys to be in the pits. Stop with your bullshit VIP parties, and I need you guys to be down there with the players that are subbing, not the players that are gaming for fucking free because they're streamers. I'm talking about the people that are spending their last $15 of the month on this game. Go down there with the people, because you've seen more of them everywhere.
I saw the
more
same
approachable.
selfies a million times. I didn't take any selfies with anyone, but I couldn't believe.
They were more approachable. They did seem like they were, Ian, when I wanted to walk up to him last year, he looked so stressed out. He looked like he wanted to hang himself. I just didn't want to bother him. He was down in the pit, hanging out with people at the bar. Celestalon, a.k.a. Chad, was fanning people at the bar standing in line. And I was like, I see what you did there. You're fanning the fans. I get it.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, you would be the only one to get it. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I think Remedy.
Yeah, but they just seem more relaxed,
They
more
did.
more. And then what was nice too is a lot of them, if they weren't well known or they didn't have the Legion tattoo shirts on, everybody else wore blue shirts, so you knew who your Blizzard employees were. You know,
Not
even
all
if
of
they were
them
just
did, though. The
Most
friends
of them
we
didn't.
hung out with didn't have those shirts.
No.
They were completely incognito. Our friends,
Yeah.
No.
our buddies.
We had a couple of them, but I noticed like anywhere you turned around, you couldn't walk more than 10 steps without seeing an employee or somebody there to help. So I mean, it was nice. I thought it was, like I said, it just seemed more approachable, more laid back, more relaxed, and they enjoyed themselves. It looked like the developers were having a good time.
They needed
That's
to
how
get
it
back
should be.
to less lip service and more fan service.
Mm-hmm.
Less putting yourself on a pedestal and more of you remember where you came from, because not too long ago you were in the same pit with the rest of us, not first in line. You didn't have VIP entrance, okay? So I think it's good. I think I wandered into the staff section of the convention center, and this guy was like, "Show me your badge," and I was like, "Here's my badge. You're not staff. I was just going to the bathroom." He was very
Am I in the wrong
upset.
spot?
that
Oh
I-
yeah.
He was very upset I was in the staff section. I wasn't trying to like cop a feel or something. I just needed to go to the bathroom. It wasn't that serious. So the majority, there's a lot of stuff that we got hit with. So PDQ covered it. I'm going to be hitting the PTR as soon as PTR is live with some of these changes. I've laxed on my videos on the YouTube channel, and I do apologize for that. But BlizzCon's over. I can get back to good. So we'll get back to what we normally do, our regularly scheduled program. Keep you happening with the updates. So now, let's talk about, instead of our Weekend WoW, it's going to be our BlizzCon Weekend WoW. Lycan, I want you to tell me your most memorable moments of BlizzCon.
Seeing Jimmy Banks sitting on a toilet,
Shut up! You guys are so dumb. I hate you guys.
spooning with Tio.
It was Follow Esports.
Yeah, told you.
It was Follow Esports.
I was looking it up when you were telling me, so I was like, let me mute
I
my mic
knew
real
it was
quick
somebody
and typed
because
it.
I interviewed the manager of Follow Esports before, just as the name change was happening. Thank you for that. Sorry, I DDoSed you. Go ahead, I'm listening.
That's okay. And eating Mexican with secret sauce. I think I ate more tacos that
You were eating
week.
Mexican food, not Mexicans, though, right?
Mexican
Just-
food,
I want to
right,
make sure
right,
we're
right.
clear, because
Tacos.
you're going to have to add that to the list of offenses.
Yeah, like me last
you're
week.
right. So anyway, back to the BlizzCon. BlizzCon itself, had a great time. DitchCon, first of all, was a great time. Wonderful. Got to meet a lot of people. Still kind of freaked out when people recognize me. And, hey, Lycan, and I turn around and I don't know who they are and they're a fan, and I'm going, oh, hi, So I'm still very humbled about it. Was neat to see some of the fans, some of the people that say, hey, one guy come up to me and says,
Listeners.
Don't wanna-
Listeners.
Yeah,
We
he's
don't
like,
have fans, we have
I-
listeners.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. I don't. Guy comes up to me and goes, listen, this is. I don't listen. Or what do you say? Yes, I know you don't know who I am. I don't want to bother you because I know you're busy, but I listen to you every day, every week when I drive to work. And I thought,
That's cool.
that was pretty cool. That I'm integrated into somebody's lives that I've never met, and it was neat to experience that with the listeners and meet them on a first, one-on-one
On a
basis.
personal basis, yeah.
Right. DitchCon was so much fun hanging out there. But the con itself, just an overwhelming experience again.
I cried
know,
during the
I-
opening ceremony. Did you guys cry? I cried.
Yeah, so that's what I got emotional, right? And I'm like, hold it in. What are you doing? Like, I didn't know why
Be a
I felt
fucking
that way.
man.
Well, and then Ella said to Chaos, like, are you crying? And I was like, oh, I'm not the only one. I didn't know you felt that way too.
did.
Sorry to bombard your weekend at BlizzCon, but
I teared up. I
the
cried.
video itself, just the way it was, all
good.
built up,
It was actually
it,
a really, really good video.
yeah,
so.
it choked me up a little bit because I don't have friends in my real life that play this. So before you guys, I had to make but before
But
I
it means
met
like
you
there
guys,
there's no connection to your
I
reality
don't. There's
until it's
I
that
didn't-
moment when you're there with all your boxes, right? All of our boxes were there, and we're all in the same room with that same.
But
connection.
even before I met you guys, I'm just playing solo,
There you go.
and
There you go,
I'm
Belle.
meeting
Right
different
there.
people.
I cried.
Nice.
I was in tears. I couldn't do
That's
it.
why it choked us up, I think,
Yeah,
because
that was a good picture. I'm
all
getting
these
goosebumps
feels
thinking
and
about it
thoughts are going through our mind while we're watching this intro.
The opening ceremony never gets me because it's just, okay, it's the hype. I get excited. I'm ready to go. It's the one at the end. At the very end, now they have people taking
Weird Al?
pictures. Oh, no. They have
No,
people
no.
taking pictures all the time. So right before the concert, you weren't there yet. Right before the concert, right before Frank Pierce got out there and spoke, they have a video of the last 2 days.
Right.
And it's, the people doing the cosplay and walking around and people just like standing in line for shit. And you can see people playing the different games that they had showcased, with Diablo and Legion. And that's what gets me, because to spend an entire week there, it's a struggle for our families, and none of us can't do it without the help of our significant others and our for me, my parents, and some of you, but just to sit there and to finally it all be over, that's what gets me.
Yeah.
That's when my sadness comes in, because we're sitting there we had everybody there for the concert, almost everybody that wanted to be there, and I looked over at one point, I'm sitting on the end with El Neris, and I look over at one point in the whole row there, and I look, and it's all the PWNCAST people.
You know where I was at for the concert?
In bed.
I sure the fuck was.
Mm-hmm.
Resting your feet.
I sure my feet were so swollen.
Looking at everybody sitting there, and nobody's looking at me, and it was kind of neat. I wish I would. It's something I don't want to picture, but a memory that I have.
Yeah.
Going, wow, this was fun. Everybody that was in front of the camera, and I can't thank enough everybody behind the camera that helps set up PWNCAST or the DitchCon and does all the work on a daily basis. That was a neat memory to have. Getting to see some of the people I didn't get to see until last year. That was pretty cool. I got to meet Ian again. I was just talking to Jim and Banks, and I were walking out
Instantly as soon as he brought it up.
BlizzCon, yep. I'm going, man, I should really DM Ian, and I actually had my phone in front of my face, and Jim was like, "Oh, there he is there." And I thought you were teasing me at first, and I look up, and I thought you were gonna say sorry, eh? And I look up, and nope, there's Ian walking across the floor. So and I felt bad. I come running up to the guy, shook his hand, and got to get another selfie for the year. And so that's my biggest memory, is just hanging out with you guys, having a good time. I don't think I've laughed so much in my entire life than I did this last week. All choked up down. I was crying.
I was choked up this morning too. Like, you guys were all gone, and I was walking. They ripped the sign down instantly, and it's still beautiful.
It's like from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
Everything's gone, and just to piggy. Are you done? Sorry, Lycan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I mean, I know she's gonna ask me, sorry, just to piggyback, of course, just getting to know you guys better. Tell us how you stole the glass, Jim. Yes, I got troll. Okay, so I got troll. Do you want me to tell the story? Yeah, you tell it. Go ahead.
That's a felony going across the
I know, that's why I didn't bring it back.
We go to Bubba Gump, right? And there's these glasses you could buy. I bought one. I should say I think Tio ended up paying for it, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Tio, there's the glass, and Tio tells Jim, take it. I paid for it. Take it. So Jim takes it. The whole walk back to the hotel, I'm dying. Literally, Tio's like, shut up. Like, he's trying to get me to shut up because I'm laughing hysterically. We waited till we get to the hotel room because Jim's, in his nature, he's Canadian, and he would walk all the way back to give them back the glass, and we didn't want him to do that. So we get in the hotel room, and I'm giggling, and Tio's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I was like, you totally stole the glass.
Is that why you guys left the restaurant so fast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
So he stole a glass. That was the highlight of his week, because he's a thief and he falls asleep while shooting.
No, I actually am like, these fools are like running away. Murky's legs hurt, so people are moving slow. And then I leave the restaurant. I'm like, I forgot my glass. So I go back in solo, pick up the glass from the table, and I'm like, hey, bye. I'm holding the glass, walk out the, and then of course half hour later, Sauce has already taken the cup back to the room.
And look what he did to my phone. He broke my phone.
I did.
Shattered it.
Now, they were trying to say I had bad juju.
Shattered it.
Jinxing everyone.
So
he fell and broke his own
favorite
phone.
moment. If you had to pick a favorite moment, Jim, what would it be?
I don't have one. I don't know if you're asking me that just to shorten it up, and I know we're running late on.
I want you to did you have memorable moments?
I didn't have one specific moment. I really didn't. And I was trying to weigh up last year, which was my first one, and this year, and I flip-flopped. I'm like, last year was better, this year was better. But just exactly what Lycan said, getting to know you guys better on a personal level, the rest of the PWNCAST people, everybody. And I wanted them to hopefully kind of understand who I am more than just this guy on the show. But I just feel like our friendships with the crew and everyone that did everything for PWNCAST grew. I probably thank not every backer, but I really just wanted to say, and I did say more than once to a lot of them, thank you for backing this party up. Everything you guys did, it wouldn't have happened without you. Christian did an excellent job DJing.
Every DJ after that, we were like, Christian's a better DJ. All the Hilton Lobby DJs.
And he was feeling it too, right? So DitchCon was awesome being a part of that and just being a part of PWNCAST. But as far as my week, it's nice having an Alliance hat, right? I finally have.
You should turn off your light and turn it on.
Yeah, I was going to. We'll save that for another hurrah. But I got my Alliance hat. No more sports hats for the show, and I had some other things that I'm forgetting now. I don't want to just forget it because it was such an epic week. But shout out just to everyone that was a part of it. I went to the convention center today to just do a little video. I know it was just a quick 8-second video. I put it in podcast chat, and it may not have seemed like it meant anything, but it was just, the feels were real, and it just felt like camp was over. I don't know if you went to camp as a kid and all of a sudden it was done and you go back to your regular life. So just thank you everyone that was a part of it. It was just a blast. I had so much fun.
We couldn't go to camp.
Excuse me. Also, the stage that was set up, Hodor, am I saying it right?
Yeah, Hodor.
That monster DJing, just that stage that they built, actually, because they didn't do anything like that last year. They built this huge stage right there where all the food trucks are, and just the vibe and the music, and I had a little glow on, and I was just like, I almost wanted to go up there. Eleanor's, I know it's Candace. Eleanor's. I call her Candace, that's her name to me. She was front row. She said she had a blast right up there, but the vibe of everyone bouncing, and it was just good. Good setup, good scene, good times. Signed my first autograph.
I personally think Christian was a better DJ than everyone, personally.
Professional too, right?
Yeah, he was really good. We have footage. I'll be wrapping together and making a nice little thing and making the footage. I'll do a little video for the YouTube, but Christian was amazing.
Yeah, shout out to you as well.
Yeah, he was Grains.
Also to you, Belle. Shout out to you for, everything. You're kind of like
drunk and grabbing the mic on the stage.
Seeing you at, that was good. Kick the cord on Turn Down for What?
Did we do that? I vaguely remember in a drunkenness of I did a thing and I was like, what'd I do? You guys
Turn Down for What comes on. The crowd's going crazy, and then Belle kicks the chord and music's cut. But just you as the head honcho lady, not that you need any more hyping up. We all know what you do for us, but
I was just trying to get people drunk.
Well, not just, I don't mean just for the party itself. I mean just everything. Just shout out to you. Maybe we can give her a little round of applause. I know she gets pissed at me for clapping on the podcast, but good job, Belle. Thank you.
Hey, while you're adding shout outs there, shout out to Songhammer. They did a phenomenal performance that night as well.
Yeah,
same stage,
for sure.
Right there.
For sure.
I know I haven't gotten back to Ben. He messaged me today, but I wanted to let him know. I let him know after the concert. It was a great concert.
Secret? That you were a first timer.
First timer rookie right here. Rookie status.
How was your first time?
It was good.
Was it everything you wanted it to be?
Actually, yeah. I enjoyed the whole, Tuesday through basically Sunday setup. Just getting to meet Lycan, Gemma, a lot of people that a lot of the backers that were there for the party. But in general, I had a plan of what I wanted to do as the first timer, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's probably not going to happen because it's your first time. You're going to be overwhelmed." Nah, I did it. I did the majority of the stuff I wanted to do.
He was doing business.
Yeah. First day to shop, in line. Screw you guys. I'm shopping. I want to get this over with. And 3 hours.
3 hours.
It is what trying to take orders for people. No one wanted orders taken, so go stand in your own fucking line.
Tio and I did the next day. Yeah.
Exactly. So got to meet LOS Gaming, which was a big deal. Thanks to Combi for the Storm. Belle, again, you were part of that, so that made it even more better.
They follow me on Twitter. They follow us. They follow me and they follow PWNCAST. It's a big deal when LOS Gaming follows you. It's a big deal.
I mean, the first thing I said to them is thank you. You guys do a lot of content. I appreciate it. It's helped me become a better raid leader. I called Belle out for being bad at mechanics.
I called myself out on Con for the Storms panel. I was like, "Hi, my raid leader boots me from the raid every tier."
But that just in general, met some people. For me, I was kind of more with just our group because I was still kind of nervous in the whole setup and scenario and environment that I just kind of want to be part of, PWNCAST and writers and just have fun, enjoy the whole get down. But I enjoyed it. Sleeping arrangements was fine. The hotel was cool. I enjoyed like our little casual walk because it was just away from the setting, and we could kind of just if you wanted to get out of the music, the people, you can kind of just go off on your own. Mexican food, mi casa.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Good job. Fantastic. I know you guys aren't going to watch the show, but yeah.
That horchata was awesome.
But I mean, the environment's great. The people were great. Cosplay was fantastic. The little bit of the panels that I did get to watch was fun. So I'm happy. I'm content. I got my book signed. I got Chronicle signed, so that was a huge deal for me too. And to the guy that bought 300 fucking balls from the little vending machine, you're a dick. So I wanted just to buy like 10. Not much.
Someone bought balls?
Just 10 balls.
Yeah, I have one somewhere in.
Your new
somewhere
nickname now is also the Pin Master. This guy bought like every single pin.
These things.
Oh,
he bought like 300 of these, and yeah, he's an ass. So, but yeah,
one day you were up for a long time too, right?
Oh yeah, like
almost 24 hours. You took all your pictures. You did good, man.
Yeah, it was rough, and then I died. I'm gonna drink my coffee, go back to sleep.
Wasn't on the toilet though. That's
no.
What matters.
Thankfully.
Can't be me.
It
was not me.
Too
and
funny.
you, Belle? How was it?
Yeah. Your picture with Sko and his lady.
Oh, before you go on,
there's some
thank
stories.
You for the person that did purchase my ticket in advance and was able to let me PayPal them for that ticket. So
was that Chris?
No. It was Jason something. I mean, I could pull up my email, but it was the night that you guys bought all the tickets. Belle.
Yeah, it was Heather and Chris. It was their friend. They had 3 people.
Right. So yeah, they are fantastic. Big shout out to them. I know.
Shout out to Tio.
I remember that. So yeah, thank you.
I go to the tavern. I didn't do Dark Moon Fair last year. Some of the things in the con are just not my thing. To be perfectly honest, what's my thing? My thing is watching the arenas.
PvP.
My thing is watching the WoW panels. My thing is not so much the Dark Moon Fair stuff. It's cool and that's awesome. That's not really my get down. But I wanted to see the Hearthstone Tavern. Boy, am I glad I did, because it was awesome. Like, they did a really good job.
Was that on the 3rd floor too?
Yeah, it was. It was across from Dark Moon Fair, and it was a beautiful setting. I wish I played Hearthstone. It was beautiful. But I did go in there, we got a beer and hung out with some friends. And then I spot Method, right? Because I see them jerseys, man. Anywhere in the vicinity, there's a fucking jersey, and my eyes are just averted. So I go over there. I want to see my friend Ian, who's one of the interns from Method, and I see Sko. And I was like, hey, dude, I wanted a picture with you last year, but I didn't. But I need a picture with your smoking hot girlfriend. And he goes, do you want me to get her? He's Scottish. And I'm like, yeah, I would love you to get her. So he goes and he gets her, and I'm standing there. And I touch her arm, and I was like, I just really want to touch you because you're smoking hot. And she goes, you're so sweet. And so I was like, I stood on one side, and I was like, do you guys mind if we make a Bell sandwich? Because I need to be in between this situation. So they both started laughing, so we got in the center, and it was amazing. So I literally kept touching her, and I'm like, I'm sorry I'm touching you. I'm sure it's very inappropriate, but you are fucking hot. You're making me feel things that are probably not appropriate for a straight woman to be feeling, but damn, you're hot. And Sko said, he's like, yeah, I'm like, you're a lucky son of a bitch that you scored that. And she is adorable, and she's so nice, super humble, super not
That's good.
So then Bajir and Jen were there, and I was going to say something to Jen, because I like Jen. But they have a line, there was a line all the way to the end.
I waited in it.
Yeah, I met them last year, so it wasn't because I had already met them last year. I didn't want to the only person I continuously stalk has been Rookie. Literally, somebody will be like, "Hey, there he is." I'm like, "I know. I seen him walk this way. Like, I already have a. I already know exactly
Radar's
where
already
he's
gone off.
standing at all times when I'm in the same vicinity." So it's awful. So then, I got to go spend some time with Chad, aka Celeste, for the hair dyeing. Hung out with Elvine, which is super awkward, but we made it happen. Not terrible people. Chad's my favorite. He's the ultimate man's man when it comes to BlizzCon. He doesn't give a fuck who you are. He loves you, right? He was fanning people. He had a fan because people were sweating and hot, and he was just, here essentially Blizzard royalty. The guy who's responsible for nerfing my Warlock every other expansion. But the memorable moments are when I get to sit around and I see my team, my family, and I get to see them laughing with each other, and I see people in my I won't even call it my real life, but people that don't understand my life, don't see the relevance or the value in what we do. I get to see that value every year at BlizzCon, and this year I was really sad to say I wanted my husband to go because he supports, I work a lot with PWNCAST, and it takes up a lot of my time and a lot of spare time away from him, and I wanted to be
Even
able
right now, right?
I
He
wanted
toughed it
him
out.
to see the fruits of his labor, of his, his being supportive of me, and him watching the kids and keeping them quiet during the show, and listening to me at 3 a.m. when I've had an idea of something I want to do, and or just things, and it was very emotional we did a toast for DitchCon, and it was emotional to stand there with people that we don't get paid for what we do. We do it because we love it, and it's a family, and it was so much feels that I could not deal with it. I literally was like fighting back the feels, and I would walk in every time I would walk into DitchCon, and I would see people dancing and laughing, and I'm just like, we fucking did it. Like, I don't know how we did it. So then, fast forward, I meet several people that found their way to me. I did the panel, Calm Before the Storm panel. It was very sad I didn't get to do it with my boys, but my boys were in the front row supporting me. But it was very weird to not have them, to not, nobody's as entertaining as them. So when I'm with other people, I'm like, you guys aren't even funny. No offense, I'm just kidding. They were funny, but they're not my guys. They're not my boys. So it's not, they're not mine. Well, met several people who found their way to me, and they're like, hey, I've watched you. That's why I don't like calling people fans, because they're, fans
Right.
feels really weird to me. It feels like we're on different playing fields. We're not on equal ground. And I feel like if you're not a fan, you're a listener, you're a supporter. I feel like we just need to be.
Right.
I'm a fan
On
of
the
Ben
same level.
Rookie, right? I'm a fan.
Yeah.
That's a fan. That's what a fan is. I just feel like, I want us to be on the same level. I don't want to separate, the viewers and listeners. So me and Remedy, aka Donovan, we're at the bar trying to buy a drink. There's only one person standing in front of me. There's a whole line, but there's only one person in front of me. So this young kid, nautical star tattoos, you already know he's going to be a douchebag. He jumps right in front of me in line. I look at Donovan, and Donovan looks at me like, fuck, I know what she's going to do. I lean in and tap him on the shoulder, and I'm like, can I fucking help you? Is there a reason you cut me in line? Are you buying a drink? He stares at me. Hello, McFly, are you buying a drink? He's like, yeah. So I just kind of stared for a second. I'm weighing my options at this point. I'm trying to figure out what's the best course of action in this 2.5 second interaction. So I pull 20 out of my pocket, put in front of his face, and I'm like, since you so rudely jumped in front of me, you can buy me a fucking drink. So he's like, oh yeah, what do you want? So I told him what I wanted. Kind of had attitude, turns back around. Maybe a minute later, he leans in. Donovan's just like giving him the eye, like Donovan's ready to pounce. He leans in, he goes, I apologize, I was really disrespectful. This is just how we do it in Seattle. And I'm like, that's not how we do it here. When you jump in front of a pretty girl, you should buy her a drink. He goes, this drink's on me. Hands me my $20 back. So this guy a few people away walks over and says, you're Belle. And I'm like,
No, here we go.
yeah, I'm Belle. He goes, I recognized your personality when you were reading that kid the riot act. You're Belle. And Donovan was like, that's amazing.
I didn't hear that part of the story.
Donovan was like, that is amazing that somebody recognized you from the show because you telling that kid what a dick he was being. So then the guy behind me was like, nice teaching him. And I'm like, he's a young kid. Somebody needs to teach him. Clearly his mother didn't teach him how to respect females. So I have to teach this kid how to respect. He was a total douche. Nautical stars, awkward tattoos of trendy, tribal tattoos, like just your worst nightmare. Fucking backwards hat, just your worst douchebag nightmare. But he was a nice kid, and he learned a tough lesson. If you're going to jump in front of somebody, you better buy him a drink. But I thought it was funny that somebody recognized basically my bitchiness.
That is funny.
They recognized. He just said, "I heard you," and he goes, "I knew it was you. I recognize your personality." And I was like, I just kind of looked like I didn't know. Are you calling me a bitch or are we?
Are you going to buy me a drink now?
He just said, he goes, "It was a very good thing. It was a very good thing." So that made me feel good that somebody from I don't know who or where they knew who I was.
They watched
I thought,
the show.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. It's
something,
nice to see when you, and you guys had said it earlier, it's nice when you connect with people. I'm just like everybody else. We're not special. We're big in Japan, but that's pretty much it. Like, we have a small following in Sweden, and my mom watches the show. So, but I'm super proud of our team. I'm proud of DitchCon. It's going to happen again next year. It was so good. We got to meet Jackie, who is Zura from the guild also, and it was so nice to finally get to hug her.
I didn't get to see her.
She's the sweetest person in the whole freaking world, and I just love her to freaking pieces. And then, you know, we had like 15 staff members from PWNCAST Go, which was really nice. Yeah. But it was nice to see all the people wearing the PWNCAST staff shirts, and I just thought, wow, we really are. I mean, we're not special, but we're something. So, to sum up my long story of BlizzCon, I loved being with my guys, and I loved it. It was my favorite. I'm already planning next year's stuff, so.
Make me cry again.
I cried during opening ceremony, and you want me to tell you why I cried?
Why?
When you were watching on the big screen and you look around and you see there's 25,000 people that all feel the same way you do. It's not even about World of Warcraft at that point. They're all feeling it, and they're there with you. And I don't even like the other games, and I loved the announcements coming for the other stuff, right? I was getting hyped, like me and Sauce were talking about we might have to play Heroes of the Storm. Like there's stuff I want to see, but I love that this game brings so many people from so many different backgrounds together. That's why I cried during open ceremony.
Remember they were at capacity and we made them lose control?
Yes. Okay.
We almost missed that video.
We almost okay. So flashback to was it the panel? Wasn't the panel?
It was that was opening ceremony.
It was opening ceremony.
We had our seats and we were hungry.
We're starving, and it's like 30 minutes away still. Might even have been an hour at this point. We had them save our seats.
45 to 30
Who was it, Jim? Was it you?
It was that left with you?
It was the three of us.
It was like in you and myself.
It was, okay.
Because everyone else ate. They got their food in the thing, and we didn't want that food. We didn't want to wait in line.
We went out. The trucks weren't ready.
Right.
So then we went to the Hilton. And when we come back, we see it chained off, and I'm like, I knew this was a bad idea. We can't get into the hall. We can get into the con, but we can't get into the hall where our seats are. And I'm like, we're going to miss the opening ceremony. So Lycan's like, I'm disabled. I'm going to use my disability. I have to get in there and get my medicine. So we go up, and this guy's like super serious. He was
like 16.
He's top flight security. And he's like, he's not budging. So I get pissed off. We're pissed off. So Jim goes, and I'm like, fuck this. I'm going too. So we barrel past this little skinny, nerdy white kid. We just barrel. People took what we were doing and decided to follow. The whole crowd. You hear the guy over the radio. We have lost control.
I figured you'd get in eventually, so I'm like, I'm going in.
I never laughed so hard. I was like, that poor guy. He's just trying to make his little $10 an hour, and we broke through their barricade basically. Like we were like, "Fuck you, you're not the boss." But because us three did it, everyone else followed.
No. You two didn't. You left the crippled standing there behind the 16-year-old.
Everybody else followed, though. The guy says,
like, will be okay.
He says, he radios in, we've lost control. It was so funny.
Oh, that was and then we had the feels for the opening video, and the rest is history. Yeah.
I ate ice cream. Me and Donovan, we stopped for I probably ate ice cream between the ice cream and the rice truck, I had the same diet pretty much every day minus the tacos. But
That's great.
it was a great time. I recommend those of you who have the means to go to BlizzCon, go. Even if you go just once, you can be budget friendly. We have tips to help you maximize your budget. Jimmy needs help maximizing.
Yeah, don't be
budget,
Canadian for one.
start planning for it now, guys, because if you start doing it now, if you want to go and you feel like it's going to be tough on you to have the means, start putting a little bit of money aside out of each check. Makes it easier. I had my hotel money, everything already set aside to just lighten the load a little bit. So, but it was a great celebration of being a team and being a family and doing what we do, guys. It was just fucking amazing.
Shout out to the team.
Shout out to all the people. Shout out to Patty at the Hilton for just being there and giving us everything we needed. She was.
Well, I posted too. Like, I've never been to big areas. Usually it's concerts with that many people, but they don't even need security. So much drinking, to the point where you may have fell asleep, whatever.
On the
but
toilet.
They don't need security. There's no
judgmental.
fights. There's no. I've never seen that ever, and I'm from Canada.
Except the guy I
Like,
almost kicked the shit out of for drinking my drink.
I had to buy
Then all of a
him-
sudden
I
you
had to
see a
buy
big
you-
brown hand come and grab you by your shoulder and he
Yeah.
lifted me up with just his hand because I was in
I
this
made
guy's
it right.
face.
I
That
had
guy
to buy
drank
it.
my drink. He walked up to my table and drank my whole drink.
That was on our watch, so we bought you a drink to replace it, but it still wasn't okay. You're like, let me see. She looks at because it has your name on the BlizzCon badge. What's your name? And then eventually he went away because he knew that Bell was
Because
just
I
going to
got
kill
into
him.
his face and Tio grabbed me and was like, "We're not going to jail today."
But I saw him 10 minutes later, and he had no badge. He went and hid it. He didn't have it on anymore because you were going to call him out by name.
Well,
You're like,
and
what's
then
your...
someone was like, "You got in that guy's face." So, I'm not fucking scared. I mean,
Not from him.
would be the first guy I fought. I'm
Probably
a
won't
dirty
be last.
fighter. I'll throw dirt
That's
in
the
your eye.
second
I'll
guy you
spit in your
test-
face. I'll bite you. I'll pull your hair. There's no rules in fighting, guys. There's no rules.
Never mind.
All bets are off. I'll hit you in the face with a
that's
trash
valid.
can lid. Like, there's no rules in fighting. People are like, "Oh,
Come
that
to
chick
BlizzCon
bites."
next year.
So, yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to add for the BlizzCon stuff?
Shout out to Tio for the vitamins.
Shout out to Tio for being the daddy. He was and Daddy Donovan.
Daddy.
I got sick that first night, so
We
I
had
spent
a
about
lot of
$50 at
daddies.
CVS.
We had
Shout out
daddies.
to CVS for being in walking distance.
I had my hangover pills, so I didn't get sick.
The people.
Yeah.
But
Good.
I think it's time to end on a happy note. It's super late, thanks to Jimma Banks.
Thanks.
It's like
He
1
fell
in the
asleep on
morning
the
my
toilet.
time. I'm pretty exhausted.
3 a.m.
and-
here.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and
And
get
I'm
on
old.
out of here, folks. I do apologize once again for the voice. I'm sure it was really awful to listen to.
Nah,
Not
it
in my
was
control.
Before we
Sorry,
started.
eh?
But we are going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you so much for watching and giving us your hour and a half every week. We appreciate it, and we are going to leave you with some words of encouragement from Jimma Banks.
Oh no.
Sorry, eh?
That's not words of encouragement.
What's that all,
Did you say sorry? Why are you
Oh, it wouldn't turn on. I traveled all day. I left Cali at
Do
11
I
a.m.
sound like I have a stoma?
A stoma.
I gotta fix my hand.
Oh, you were freaking out. I'm like, you're next, Belle. I put that bad juju on you.
You
I'm
did.
so
That was
sorry.
that hurt my feelings. I mean, if I had feelings, I don't.
Broke Lycan's phone.
Yep.
Travis broke his foot, possibly
Travis's
permanently.
foot
We
first?
don't know.
Nah, he's good now.
Yeah, he is good. He's
Well, he was walking by Sunday, wasn't he?